Hi, I'm Patu from freefincal. On July 10th, I wrote about forget market crashes, you lose everything if this happens. We talked about the fragility of life, and that very night, my mother had a fall and was admitted into hospital. Thankfully, it was a minor fracture, a fracture that did not need surgery. So, so she's back home now and she's under bed rest. Thank you all for your prayers, support, and wishes. And that really mattered. So we're going to talk about irregularities in mutual funds today. This was a question that was asked in the Lok Sabha and a written answer was given. We will talk about that. But since July 10th, I've not been posting videos, but I've been busy in the blog. I published the Momentum Low Volatility Screener for July 2019. I then talked about the Mirai Asset Mid Cap Fund, NFO, and why you should stay away from this. And then I talked about how to calculate returns from an insurance policy. I will make a video on this in detail because there are many possibilities that one will have to consider. And then Sunday, July 14th was an amazing day in sport. But I also talked about probabilities and how a super Sunday in sport is similar to Black Monday in the stock market, where extreme events are supposedly improbable, but they occur. So please check these posts out at freefincal.com. Today I talked about irregularities in mutual funds, and this was a question asked in the Lok Sabha, and it was answered by the Minister of State for Finance and Corporate Affairs. Now, he had pointed out that SEBI had found out several types of irregularities and non-compliances on the part of AMCs and their trustees, and they have betrayed the trust of investors, to speak plainly. So they said that they failed to identify and appropriate all expenses in the individual schemes as per regulatory requirements. This essentially means malpractice. One such malpractice possibly could be to ensure that the difference between regular and direct funds are not too high, so that the direct AUM does not increase too fast. That is one possible malpractice, but although it's very hard to prove it. That is of course, my opinion. Many people have voiced about it, not just me. Instances of borrowing for purposes other than those allowed under mutual fund regulations. I think Money Life has talked about this, and this is essentially, again, this is a breach of trust of investors. Failure to carry out valuation of investments in accordance with investment valuation norms. This is with reference to, I think, SL bonds. Although the bonds had basically defaulted, they kind of agreed with the Z group that they will not call it a default until September 2019, although they very well knew that the FMPs would be ending before that and they will be facing that default, and that is just garbage. Instances of closed-ended schemes investing in assets which had maturity beyond the maturity of the scheme. Again, this is the case of the same the SL bonds. Non-adherence to sectoral limits for debt-oriented schemes, resulting in concentration risk. This is partly the AMC's fault, partly because of the illiquidity in the debt market, so it's very difficult to talk about it. So those are all the types of irregularities and non-compliances reported, and you can see that in 2016-17, 37 warning letters and 35 deficiency letters were sent to the AMCs, and adjudication proceedings were initiated against 3 funds. In the next financial year, 17 warning letters, 15 deficiency letters, and 2 letters to essentially deficiency. I think would mean that essentially means non-compliance. I think to the fund trustees, and that's even worse. In 2018-19, 47 warning letters, 24 deficiency letters, 2 warning letters to the fund trustees, and adjudication against 5 AMCs. After all this, in June 2019, SEBI had issued a show cause notice to HDFC and Kotak for extending FMPs with bad SL bonds. I just talked about it. Now I had written about it also that time. The minister had said that SEBI is taking many measures and so on, but it's very, very difficult for us, for the investors, to completely trust AMCs. I think we should not. We should just keep an eye on how things pan out. Especially, I've written about how UTI mutual fund has behaved badly, and then they very, very late they issued the side pocketing. That's just unacceptable. And also talked about, next time you see the mutual fund Sahi ads, blow raspberry, I mean, the way these AMCs are behaving is just atrocious and completely unacceptable. I think SEBI should put their foot down and simply say uh, one strike or two strikes, they should remove the license. That's the only way out. Otherwise, these things cannot be checked. So that's what I wanted to say in this video. If you have any questions, we'll do the Q&A this week. So if you have any questions, leave them below. Thank you once again for all your support. I'll try to be more regular with the videos. My time is little tight now because I have to take care of mom as well at home. So I'll try to make videos whenever I can. So I'll catch you in another video. Bye bye.